You can fool all the people some of the time, and some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have. I must stand with anybody that stands right, and stand with him while he is right, and part with him when he goes wrong. My concern is not whether God is on our side, my greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow, by evading it today. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other. Character is like a tree, and reputation like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of it, the tree is the real thing. Don't worry when you are not recognized, but strive to be worthy of recognition. Those who deny freedom to others, deserve it not for themselves, and under the rule of a just God, cannot long retain it. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. Let's have faith that right makes might, and in that faith let us to the end dare to do our duty, as we understand it. No man is good enough to govern another man without the other's consent. I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place will be proud of him. The things I want to know are in books. My best friend is the man who'll get me a book I ain't read. If we could first know where we are and whither we are tending, we could then better judge what to do and how to do it. A woman is the only thing I am afraid of that I know will not hurt me. He has a right to criticize who has a heart to help. What is to be, will be, and no prayers of ours can arrest the decree. I'm a success today, because I had a friend who believed in me, and I didn't have the heart to let him down. Stand with anybody that stands right, stand with him while he is right, and part with him when he goes wrong. The way for a young man to rise is to improve himself in every way he can, never suspecting that anybody wishes to hinder him. I know that the Lord is always on the side of the right, but it is my constant anxiety and prayer that I and this nation may be on the Lord's side. I don't know who my grandfather was, I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. In this sad world of ours, sorrow comes to all, and to the young, it comes with bitterest agony, because it takes them unawares. I have had experience enough to know what I say. When I am getting ready to reason with a man, I spend 1/3 of my time thinking about myself, and what I am going to say, and 2/3 about him and what he is going to say. It has so happened in all ages of the world, that some have labored, and others have, without labor, enjoyed a large proportion of the fruits. I hope to stand firm enough to not go backward, and yet not go forward fast enough to wreck the country's cause. The highest art is always the most religious, and the greatest artist is always a devout person. He who would be no slave must consent to have no slave. Those who deny freedom to others, deserve it not for themselves and, under a just God, cannot long retain it. It is a quality of revolutions, not to go by old lines or old laws, but to break up both and make new ones. If a man had more than one life, I think a little hanging would not hurt this one, but after he is once dead, we cannot bring him back, no matter how sorry we may be, so the boy shall be pardoned. Let the people on both sides keep their self-possession, and just as other clouds have cleared away in due time, so will this, and this great nation shall continue to prosper as before. I have said 100 times, and I have no inclination to take it back, that I believe there is no right, and ought to be no inclination in the people of the free states to enter into the slave states, and to interfere with the question of slavery at all. Most folks are about as happy as they make their minds up to be. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. You can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. I am rather inclined to silence, and whether that be wise or not, it is at least more unusual nowadays to find a man who can hold his tongue than to find one who cannot. Adhere to your purpose, and you will soon feel as well as you ever did. On the contrary, if you falter, and give up, you will lose the power of keeping any resolution, and will regret it all your life. In the end, it is not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your year. I have been driven many times upon my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. My own wisdom, and that of all about me, seemed insufficient for that day. The greatest fine art of the future will be the making of a comfortable living from a small piece of land. If I am killed, I can die but once, but to live in constant dread of it is to die over and over again. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. I claim not to have controlled events, but confess plainly that events have controlled me. In giving freedom to the slave, we assure freedom to the free, honorable alike in what we give and what we preserve. We shall nobly save, or meanly lose, the last best hope of earth. The one victory we can ever call complete will be that one which proclaims that there is not one slave, or one drunkard on the face of God's green. I leave you, hoping that the lamp of liberty will burn in your bosoms, until there shall no longer be a doubt that all men are created free and equal. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion.